Welcome to the Community Difference Frisco. Powered by the Difference Media LLC. Hosted by Brian Poduska. And sponsored by Real Property Management Focus. Certainty Home Lending. Donovan Creative Agency. Stewart Title. The Frisco Fighters Arena Football Team. Total Care. PBJ Mortgage. And by Team Watson Redeemers. The Community Difference Frisco.
To serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals.
So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Frisco starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the North Texas Community Difference Frisco show. You are watching episode 15. It's hard to believe that we have that many episodes under our belt yet, but here we are. Welcome to the show. Happy Thursday to you as we are in here in March, our second week of March. So for those who haven't seen the show, we're all about the community. We are putting spotlights on local business owners, entrepreneurs, community leaders, Frisco ISD leaders, nonprofit leaders, and sports leadership here in Sports City, USA, Frisco, Texas. So hello from Frisco. Thank you for joining us. We also have rotating co-hosts every week, and we talk about a business topic every month, which is a rotating business topic. The business topic of March is building a strong team and fostering workplace culture locally in a local setting. So that is what we're going to dive into today. But without further ado, let's bring on our co-hosts this week. We've got Jacqueline, Crider, and Chance Post. What's up, my lady and my gentleman? How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Great to see you guys. Happy Thursday to you. It's almost the weekend. It's spring break for most of us, right?
That's right.
I'm glad we here at The Difference, we don't take it as spring break. So I'm glad you guys could join us during most people's spring break.
Chance, you're muted.
You're on mute, my friend. You're talking a mile a minute, but you're on mute.
That happened.
There you go.
Hey, we don't take breaks in the Frisco show, man. We work hard.
That's exactly right. We're here. We're muscling through it.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I was going to say, do small business owners ever really, truly take a break? Let's be real.
This is true.
That's just how it goes.
Chance, you were in the mountains not too long ago, a few weeks ago, if I remember right.
I slipped off to Broken Bow for like 3 days. It's pretty awesome, man. It's pristine. There's no it's getting very developed with cabins, but the water, the lake there's nothing on it. One little marina, and it's like unspoiled. So it's really beautiful. Yeah.
We typically for the last, a handful of years, we've escaped up to Broken Bow for same thing, like 3 to 5 days, depending on what availability there's been. We go with our neighbors, and we didn't make it this year because we had dogs getting surgeries and kids on spring break from different spring breaks. My twins in particular, their spring breaks didn't match up at Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. So we passed this year. I do enjoy going up there, though. It was always nice, relaxed time up in the woods and sit around a fire, which you don't get to do very often, down here in Texas. So, but hey, looking forward to the show this week. We've got the monthly business topic of building team and culture and a strong workplace environment here locally. So look forward to diving into that. We have some awesome guests. Jacqueline, I don't know if you've been able to get your guest dialed in backstage, but hopefully she can join us. But why don't we just go around the horn, introduce ourselves to the audience real quick. And if your guest is in, Jacqueline, certainly we'll let you go first. If not, pass it over to Chance and we'll get his.
I was going to say, I'll let Chance introduce his.
Okay. So it looks like Kristy's not in yet. So Well, why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick? Jacqueline, you go first, then Chance, and you can bring in your guest.
Sure. So I'm Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage, where we are making mortgage simple. As simple as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So we do loans all over the state of Texas and can help all over the U.S., but mainly we focus here locally. I have been living in the Plano, Frisco area for almost my entire life, so 40 some odd years. So I'll go ahead and date myself, but yep, that's who I am and what I do.
Awesome. Well, and I'll throw that out there too. You're also a co-host on the Plano show. So if you're interested in anything going on in Plano, certainly check that out. When does the Plano show air? Let's give it a plug.
It airs on Wednesday, and that is 11:30 to 12:45.
Awesome. And hi, Debbie. Thanks for chiming in there. One of our other co-hosts. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. All right, let's kick it over to Chance. How you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, doing great. My name's Chance Post. I'm with Total Care Emergency Room. I'm Director of Marketing. We just love being out in the community, educating people on, got different healthcare choices. Obviously, we're open 24/7. We're easy to get into and get to see a doctor very quickly. And, we support a lot of local charities. So I just like to get out, talk to people. The show's a great tool to stay in connection with people in the community and business leaders you want to meet, and stay in touch with friends such as Lance, who's coming on in a second. Great to be here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. And, as much as I say, you don't want to have to go to the ER, so avoid Chance's business at all costs. But if you do need to go there, certainly go to your location.
I was going to say, at least we know that if you're in a bad pinch, she can help you out, right?
That's right. And drop his name at the door, and they may get you in a little quicker.
That's right.
Right.
People do that. Actually, it's pretty funny. Then they tell me, at least I know I'm getting referrals. So that's, it's actually really good if you drop my name at the door.
There you go. Well, hey, let's bring Lance in and say hello. Hey, Lance. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Doing well.
Excellent. Well, hey, thanks for joining us today. I got to meet you initially backstage here for the first time. We run in a lot of the same circles, so I'm surprised we haven't met yet. But it's awesome to meet you. And why don't you tell the audience who you are and kind of a high overview of what you do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So my name is Lance Van Hemmel, social catering manager with Cracker Barrel. New position with the company. Just started this position back in January. They hired a team of 6 of us across the U.S. So my territory specifically is all of Dallas-Fort Worth, all the way up to Sherman, Gainesville. And I also cover Phoenix, Arizona, and San Antonio.
Awesome. And so let's talk real briefly, because it caught my eye initially when I heard it, or caught my ear. Social catering manager. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, so specifically, within Cracker Barrel, we have, I want to say, about 20 catering sales managers across the U.S. So we're in 45 states with 665 stores. Their role is to really maintain and grow current accounts. As a social catering manager, our role is to grow new business. We're looking at wedding venues, event venues, funeral homes, to really get on their approved vendor list and get more of the personal events. So my focus is 100% B2C, all B2C, no matter what it is. And then anything B2B with 50 employees or less. So that's kind of my realm and what I stick in. And anything over 50, I pass off to the catering sales manager in this area, but I handle anything under 50.
Awesome. Well, cool. That's pretty much our target market, right? Is our businesses that are, small to medium size. So that's right in our wheelhouse. I'm glad to have you here today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Awesome. So any luck, Jacqueline, on getting your guest to dial in?
She's tried or whatever. I mean, this is the beauty or the problem of live shows sometimes, right? Is that technology is not always our friend. That's
right. Well, and that's, if you've watched our show, you know that we are live, so we're not a catered, sliced up event here. So what you see is what you get, and we are who we are. So just like life, it throws us curveballs, especially with technology. So hopefully she will be able to dial in and join us, because I'd love to meet her. But with that, we'll take a break real quick, and on the backside, we'll come back with What's Up Frisco.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus. Paul Fisher, loan officer with Certainty Home Lending. Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers. Kendra Kennedy with Stewart Title. Ethan Donovan with Donovan Creative Agency. Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage. Chance Post with Total Care ER and Total Care Networking. Matt England, Director of Corporate Partnerships, and Andre Coles, Head Coach of the Frisco Fighters Arena Football Team. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up Frisco?
All right, there's our sounder. It's time. What's Up Frisco? This is the time where we go around the horn and talk about any events that's coming up in Frisco. So that includes sporting events, fundraisers, any sort of good time thing going on out there. With that, I'll throw it out, guys. Do you guys have anything? I've got a few. I'll round it up, but I want to throw it out to you guys first.
I got one.
Ladies first, Jacqueline. I know you have one that you want to mention.
I do. So for those of you who've watched our show before, you may remember Joanna McDaniel, who was on our show, and she runs the Frisco women's group. And so they're doing a Business and Bloom event, and that's going to be next Wednesday, March the 20th. It's from 5 to 7:30 p.m. You do have to get a ticket, and I believe you can even get one at the door. It's going to be on Smotherman Road in Frisco. So definitely check it out. It's all over Facebook. You can always reach out to me. I'm happy to connect you in on that, but there's going to be lots of cool vendors in there and just a lot of good opportunity to network. So if you are a woman in Frisco, come see us.
Yeah, and that group, she was on the show, a couple months ago, I want to say. And
Yep.
It's amazing how that group has just grown immensely. I think they at the time, they were over 2,000 members, something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of members very, very quickly. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of very like women supporting women in very positive kind of style environment, which is really great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Guys, do you have anything you want to call out?
I've got one.
Go for it.
So I know we're friends with the Texas Legends. Monday, March 18th, is the Total Care Foundation night at the Texas Legends. So they're going to be honoring the foundation that night with the jerseys and everything. So it's going to be a really great night. A lot of Total Care employees will be out. I think there's still links for free tickets, but we also we had so much success with the Total Networking in the Party Plaza. Malcolm, the president of the Texas Legends, gave us the Party Plaza again for Monday night. So there'll be free hot dogs, hamburgers, networking event. So it'll be a good time right before the game. So I think doors open an hour. The game's at 7, so I guess 5:15 or so the doors will open, and you can do an hour networking. Bring your kids. There's bounce houses. The whole thing with the Legends. They have a lot of fun, and there's a lot of stuff for the kids to do, and it's kind of a family. It's gonna be a family environment, but you can still come and network. We had about 120 people last time, so it's a great event. You can just stop by for a little bit and then go to your seat, or you can stay up from the Party Plaza and watch the game. And, it's a pretty good time, and it's good. It's good networking.
Yeah, well, I can attest. We were there, showing force for the difference last was that a couple weeks ago that you had that event, Chance, and that was a great time, great environment. We got to watch the entire game from up on that plaza, which great view, and got to witness Rudy Federico, make a putt all the way across the court and win a year's supply of beer. So how cool is that?
Yeah, hopefully he'll show up with some of that beer. I think they're going to have a silent auction on the plaza too, so there'll be some pretty cool gifts.
Okay.
To raise money for the foundation too. So I know Monique that runs the foundation for us. She does a really good job with the gifts, and that's kind of her wheelhouse of getting fun things to do. So I'm excited to see what that ends up looking like.
Awesome. Well, look forward to that event. I will be there as well. So thanks for calling that out. All right, Lance, do you have anything?
Nothing in specific to Cracker Barrel that I can think of that we're hosting or doing anything. I know we don't have a specific location in Frisco. Our closest location is Allen or Louisville, but just particular to Frisco, I would say just their weekly event with the Frisco Chamber of Commerce. It's on Thursday mornings from about 7:15 to 9 a.m. It's a networking breakfast. There's usually about 100 to 120 people there, and it's at Strikes Entertainment Center at Lebanon and Preston every Thursday morning.
Yep, that is a fantastic event, and let's come check it out. Frisco Chamber of Commerce. We've got an ambassador as one of our co-hosts on the show, Mr. Paul Fisher. So definitely attend that breakfast if you can. You can go a couple times for free, and before you're roped in to be a full-time member. But once you go, you'll realize how energetic and, like you said, over 100 plus people there on a weekly basis. So great venue and place to meet, a lot of business owners locally here.
Mark and Michelle do a great job. It's kind of like a stand-up comedy show, to be honest. I've never laughed so much in my life on Thursday mornings.
Yeah, they add a ton of entertainment, and they're awesome.
It's no wonder they're a 5-star chamber.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I mean, the other thing too is, some people say different things about different chambers, but I mean, they probably get 10 new people a week.
Oh yeah.
So if you're going to make 40 new contacts over the course of a month. And I mean, over the course of the year, I mean, it really adds up. But the thing about the chamber is you got to work it. You got to go, you got to attend, you got to be present.
I think so often people have this view about chambers that it's the same people every week. And I think for the most part it is, but again, there's going to be new people every week. And Frisco does a great job of inviting new people every week and getting new faces. So I think that's huge.
Yeah. And Michelle's a friend of the program. She's been on before. We got, you made me think, we've got to get Michelle and Mark both on the show together and just run a comedy hour with those goofballs. What's up, Nathan?
See, I knew somebody would know you, Lance. Come on. I'm like, this guy needs no introduction.
There you go. And Nathan is a managing director of The Difference and hosts the Plano show. So, great to know that you guys are connected already. So that's awesome. Perhaps we add you to the Plano roster as well. All right, cool. So I've got a couple things that I want to call out. These are all happening next weekend. So it's going to be a busy weekend next weekend in Frisco. In particular, the first one I'll call out is the Frisco Fighters. So one of our co-hosts, our sponsors, head coach Andre Coles, I think he'll be on next week. It's either next week or the following week. So they kick off their season the 22nd. So next week, the 22nd, at Comerica Center over there in Frisco on Gaylord Parkway, right next to the ballpark. Come on out to that. We do have ticket giveaways, so reach out to any of the co-hosts, myself as the host, or Lendon, the man behind the scenes, the creator of The Difference. Reach out to any of us to get tickets, and we'll have free ticket giveaways too on upcoming shows as well. So kicking off March 22nd, fired up about that. Also, at the NAC Theater coming up next weekend, season 3 of Frisco's Got Talent. It's presented by friend of the program, Mark Hill and Tiffany Hill. That is the 22nd as well in the evening, 7 p.m. So what that is, it's a talent show, just like America's Got Talent, Frisco's Got Talent, just on a smaller scale. The talent isn't any smaller, though. They're down to their top 10. So they will announce a winner on March 22nd, 7 p.m. at the NAC Theater, downtown Frisco. Also, the following day, March 23rd at NAC Theater, 8 p.m., there's a comedy duo of Ashley Austin Morris and Kenise Circa. So go check them out. Heck, do a back-to-back event over at the NAC Theater next weekend. Tickets for both events can be found at nactheater.com. So check that out. Come on out, support the local theater scene. All right. Last call. Anything else? Going once, going twice. All right, that'll put a bow on this week's What's Up Frisco. So now we'll transition and get to know our guests a little bit better. All right, there's Mr. Fisher. We just mentioned you. Another person who knows Lance and Lance's dog. What's your dog's name, Lance?
Buddy.
Buddy. What's up, buddy?
Oh.
good looking hound. Kind of looks like ours, just golden instead of black. So now's the part of the show where we get into our guests a little bit, get to know them. We love to hear stories. Everyone's story is different, right? And that's the part that I love about meeting new folks on the show. So, Lance, you are our spotlight guest this week since we're having technical difficulties with Jacqueline's guest. So, just tell the audience, like, how did you get to where you're at? What are you passionate about? What inspired you to join Cracker Barrel? It's an awesome brand. I want to hear about that as well. So I'll kind of let you take it, and we'll throw in questions as we go. So
yeah, I have been in the hospitality industry for the past 18 years. It started back in high school. I was a server at IHOP in my hometown, Marshall, Texas. Was a steady high school job, quick cash, because when you're a server, you all know you get cash every day. Then I went to college and I had to make up a decision on a major. And so, before I actually accepted college, I decided to do hospitality management and tourism. UNT has a phenomenal program for that. They're very well known. And so I decided to go there. And in my decision to go there, instead of getting a job where I would have to do a lot of training and learn more things, I just went with IHOP in the Denton area. And I literally interviewed, and the next day already had my uniform from my previous IHOP experience. And so just showed up and had a section of tables and ran the show. So
smooth.
The first 8 years of me being in this industry was operations. And, I value that experience because I understand what goes on behind the scenes at a restaurant and within the four walls. But over time, I fell out of love with it as I got older because I was tired of working weekends. I was tired of working late nights, overnights, and all these things. And so I was still passionate about the hospitality industry and restaurant, hotels. I've done everything in this industry except for cruise ships and casinos. So I've done country clubs. My internship was at a private country club on Long Island in New York. I was one of 3 students at UNT in the hospitality program to be chosen for that. So really cool. I got to serve Mr. Merrill and Mr. Lynch drinks twice a week. Dr. Watson of Watson and Crick, who discovered DNA, I served Dr. Watson dinner one night.
That's so cool.
Super cool.
That's
Mr.
awesome.
Kellogg of Kellogg cereal. And if you've ever had Goulden's spicy mustard,
Oh yeah,
Miss Goulden would play bridge every Wednesday. She loved Diet Coke and Jack, and her account number was G70, and she loved the fact that I memorized that. And so, that was just a super cool experience. Came back from that internship, graduated, got into the hotel industry. I was at a hotel in Addison for a little bit, worked my way up to an assistant front office manager. And then I ended up going back into the restaurant world shortly after that. Got a job with Jason's Deli. And within 6 months of being in that role, without my knowledge, I was, by the regional trainer and regional manager, nominated. They said, hey, we have a great candidate for your sales team. Jason's Deli has local sales managers. And so she reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in this position? We sat down, we chatted about it. And when she told me it was Monday through Friday, 7 to 5, I said, what? I said, you mean to tell me that I can be in the industry I love and work Monday through Friday and have all the major holidays off and, mimic the corporate holidays that everybody else has. So that is where I started my catering sales career for the past 10 years and have just fallen in love with it. I didn't realize that sales was something that I was going to be so great at. So my first year with Jason's Deli, I was the number 5 catering sales manager out of 47 in the company. My second and third year, I was number 3. And so I just absolutely love cultivating relationships with people, helping them. And I have always referred to myself as a solution seller. I'm here to give people a solution, right? I'm not here to shove things down your throat and say, hey, you need this, you have to have this. I'm not a pushy salesperson. And I will also never work for a company that I don't believe in their product. So I'm not going to work for a restaurant that I wouldn't even eat their product or I don't value. because I don't believe in trying to sell something to somebody that I wouldn't even purchase myself. It just doesn't sit right with me.
It's a great attitude.
Yeah. And so that's just, I the past 10 years I've been catering sales. I've been with Jason's Deli, Taco Cabana, Hawaiian Bros Island Grill, Chick-fil-A, and most recently Cracker Barrel. I jumped on board in January. Just a super great brand. And I think one of the biggest attributes that I love about Cracker Barrel is they don't and will never franchise. I'm not a firm person on working for franchises just because the benefits, I don't know, you lose a lot of the benefits that you get when you're with corporate. And so I've noticed, I've worked for franchises, I've worked for corporate, and I've always felt better about working for corporate just because I felt better taken care of, better benefits. I get all the normal holidays off, and there's just a big difference in that.
You know, it's interesting. That really dovetails nicely into our topic for today, because when you talk about culture, you're talking about, hey, the corporate structures, this is, they're going to sell you the culture. But when you talk about franchisees, you've got 10 owners over here that may not really have the same values that you have and the same thing. So that's kind of interesting that you brought that up, because that's one of the key factors. You don't have consistent culture.
Excellent point.
Amongst, like when you guys with your, I know you from your past companies where there was different, ownerships changing hands, and they've got 100% different culture, different way. The way they think is totally different.
Well, and I think for the most part, right, people on the outside looking in don't see that. So your customers, your clientele don't see that, but your staff do. Right. And so I was in the behind the scenes mix up of everything. And that's a big reason why I left Hawaiian Bros. I couldn't stay on board with the franchise owners because I didn't feel the same way. I didn't feel as passionate in the position as I did when it was still owned by corporate and managed by corporate. And so that's huge for me. I mean, I want to be treated right. I want to have that sense of teamwork, that strong passion just to be with the brand that I'm with.
That's great.
Yeah. And I mean, you hit on it as far as relationship building and problem solving, right? That's a lot of what we do at the Community Difference shows. Is we're all about, being relational and not transactional. So you've built this, and as you were talking, Lance, I remembered, and you were talking about the different brands you worked on. I remember I did meet you at the Frisco Chamber. It was under a different banner, so that's why I didn't put two and two together. But you mentioned the consistency of going to the Frisco Chamber. That's all about relationship building, and you do see the same faces, and you see a lot of new ones as well. But you're out there building relationships, and now it's in a different capacity with business to business and a little bit different target market.
And I think too, one of the biggest things that I tell people about chambers, and I'm a hard hitter for chambers, but you have to go into chambers with the relational mindset. You can't walk in looking for transactions and wanting to get sales on your first time there, right? I mean, people do business with people they know and trust. You can't expect to just walk in somewhere and be like, oh, this is my product. Okay, now y'all need to buy it from me. It doesn't work that way. And so I'm a firm believer of being consistent. I tell people, if you want to see an ROI in being in a chamber, you've got to give it at least 6 months. You've got to be consistent. You've got to cultivate relationships and be there for the relational part of it. And through those relationships, I guarantee you, I can't tell you how many times I've been referred by someone in the chamber, or they said, hey, Lance will take care of you. Give him a call. Here's his information if you need catering. Anytime catering is mentioned, I'm typically referred by someone in the chamber. And, it goes to your point of building the relationship. So this is funny. A few weeks ago, I got a message from a guy on LinkedIn, and he said, good morning, Lance. I'm hearing a lot about you from several circles. You are becoming popular, and it seems to be because you're a genuine person. I'd like to schedule a Zoom or meeting with you to introduce ourselves and see what we can do. I run a nonprofit for special needs families. We could always use some Cracker Barrel. Let me know what can work, and we'll put it together. And so it's just stuff like that. Like, I love, I didn't ask for that. They just reached out to me. And it's because I put myself in so many different circles in the community, and I am just involved. And I think that's a big part. and it's all about consistency as well, because you're keeping not only yourself top of mind, but your business that you're with top of mind.
Lance, I've got a question for you too.
Yeah.
I know one thing. I see you do a really, really good job on social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Do you have somebody helping you, or are you doing all that? I feel like you can't be doing all that.
No, listen, you would think I have this this little minion that's doing all this stuff for me, but no, I have a passion for that. I set aside time for those posts. Little life hack, little tip. AI is amazing. ChatGPT is my best friend. It has made my life so much more efficient. It helps me articulate myself in ways that I want to articulate myself that way, but I just really need more time to do it. And so AI does it for me. It can craft up an email, a social media post for me. And of course, I don't just copy and paste. I peruse through it. I make sure I correct things that need to be corrected. I go back and I make the tags that are necessary. But for the most part, I have ChatGPT write a lot of stuff for me, just because it helps. And then once I read through what ChatGPT wrote, it's literally what I would want in my own words. So it's not like I'm plagiarizing anything. It's just, hey, this helps me become more efficient and use my time more wisely.
Yeah, no, you nailed it right there, because we've talked about that on the show before. Our creator, Lennon Wilson's a huge believer in AI and utilizes it quite a bit. As much as we'd all love a little minion, as you mentioned. I wish I had a bunch around here, but AI is certainly a good substitute in the go-between. Hey guys, real quick, we've got to take a break. We're going to come back on the backside, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into the topic of the month, because I do think, Lance, your background, translates very well to this topic. So I want to dive into it a little bit more with you. And just so you know what the topic of the month is, it's building a culture and building a team in a local environment. I do want to tease something too before we do go to the break. If you are a fan of horses, bulls, cowboys, cowgirls, I mean, we're in Texas, we're in Frisco, Texas, so who isn't? You're going to want to stay tuned. We've got some big news coming. I'm going to leave it at that right now, because there's still some ink to dry, I think, but there's some opportunity to see some live cowgirls, cowboys, bulls, all that good stuff. So with that, let's hit break and we'll be right back.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
JP Direct Health offers affordable health insurance solutions for individuals, families, and small businesses specializing in custom coverages to fit your needs and budget. JP Direct Health offers comprehensive benefits, including PPO health plans, accident and critical illness coverage, dental and vision, health matching accounts, along with telehealth at no cost per call. Call JP Direct Health today to learn more about how we can help you protect your health and your budget.
Do you want your home or office to sparkle? Then call Elite Diamond Cleaning today. From basic cleaning to deep cleaning, and using only the highest quality cleaning products and equipment, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Our team of experienced cleaners will work quickly and efficiently to clean every nook and cranny, taking care of all the details so you don't have to. With a variety of pricing options to fit any budget, you can be sure that you are getting the best possible price. Call Elite Diamond Cleaning today at 214-300-9876 to schedule a free estimate. Your home and office is a diamond. Let us get it out of the dust.
Frisco Fighters prepare to reach new heights at Comerica Center this spring. From competitive matchups to exciting theme nights, you won't want to miss a second of the action. Join us and experience high-scoring, hard-hitting indoor football that's fun for the whole family to enjoy. Visit FriscoFighters.com for game highlights, tickets, or to reserve your spot at the Tarmac Tailgate Party. Frisco Fighters, fly with us.
Are you looking to buy a home? The process can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the help of a qualified loan officer like Paul Fisher, you can get the financing you need and get into your dream home. Paul Fisher, a direct local lender with Certainty Home Lending, has many years of experience helping people buy homes. He's knowledgeable, experienced, and he'll work with you to find the best loan for your needs. Contact Paul Fisher today to get started on your home buying journey. He'll help you every step of the way, so you can relax and focus on finding your dream home. Visit www.loansbyfisher.com or call 817-308-7361 to schedule a consultation with Paul. MLS number 2018111. Are you a business owner looking to grow your company? Get fast, easy financing up to $5 million with no minimum FICO score required. Apply in 60 seconds and get funded in 24 hours. Call Jim Thomas at 214-629-7223 to talk to a financing professional today. Your business's future is waiting. So don't delay. Call now and tell him that you saw him on The Difference.
And now back to the show.
All right, welcome back. And now is the segment where we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the topic of the month. And as we mentioned earlier, it was a great tease, Chance, and you stole my thunder in the segue because I think Lance's background is perfect for this, especially in restaurant operations, right? When you're talking about running a team, whether it's in an actual restaurant or hospitality in general. And Paul Fisher chimed in earlier, said hello. I bet you guys can trade some good war stories because he was in the hospitality industry as well. Worked at several country clubs. He probably has some really good stories about folks that he's served some hopefully really perfectly done steaks to in the past as well. But the topic of building a team and building a culture. So specific to the restaurant industry, I mean, you've probably had a lot of experience and you've been on a team you said that's where you started. So you've been on the front lines, if you will, all the way up through management. So I guess what's the key ingredient when it comes to building a team in your mind and building a culture?
I think it starts with management. It's upper level management and it trickles down. And it's just all about how you manage your team, how you take care of them, making them feel part of the team. And I think learning about each one of your staff members and knowing what's important to them. You have some staff that don't like to be recognized publicly. They want separate recognition, right? And so it's knowing the ins and outs of your employees, because when you feel valued as an individual employee, and the way you feel valued is by your management. Like those are the people who are going to show you value. Then you want to be the best employee that you can be, and you put your best foot forward, and you want to be part of the team. And so I think that's where it all starts. People don't leave their company; they leave their boss.
I've got one thing.
Their boss.
Yeah.
One thing I found in Total Care really spent a lot of time on their culture, and one of the keys, what you just said, Lance. The key, every manager has to have a one-on-one with their people. And so that time is not to talk about business, but to talk about the person and to find out how they're doing in their life. So it's a very personal, it's not about work. It's how are you doing? How is your kids doing? How's your family doing?
Yeah. Well,
how do you be treated? You need to be supported.
It's that too, but even more than that, I've watched Gary Vaynerchuk and some stuff on his, he's amazing when it comes to employees. He's got 14 companies. Like the guy's got to be on top of his A game. But it's knowing, he mentioned one time, knowing your employees. So if they walk in, you should know your employees well enough to know that when they walk in, you can tell if there's something wrong.
Right.
Like you can tell when they're not themselves and you pull them inside and say, hey, you're not acting yourself today.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. What can I do? What's going on? And when you allow them to be vulnerable with you like that, and it means so much because, I mean, look at it this way. Work consumes most of our life. I mean, 40 hours a week. You spend more time with your coworkers and your staff than you do at home. I mean, it's crazy. But and that's the more reason that we should know. I mean, our coworkers tend to be like family, and we should look at it that way. And so, for me, it's a little bit different because I'm remote, right? So my coworkers are all a Zoom call or a phone call away. But I mean, Isabella is one of my coworkers. I call her all the time, almost daily, because with coworkers, they understand you. When I talk about something or what I'm dealing with in a day, somebody else that's not in my industry is not going to understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to want to talk to a coworker about it. But, you know, you become like a family, and you should understand what is going on in people's lives, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, it could be a death in the family. It could be a breakup. It could be something they're just dealing with personally, and it's going to affect work. It always does.
Yeah, no, that and I like that aspect of culture that you brought up there, the work-life balance thing, right? And that's, you know, we've all experienced either good or bad or kind of indifferent. There really isn't a whole lot of middle ground when it comes to work-life balance. And being a business owner, entrepreneur, I've noticed, because I just a little bit of background on me. I had 7 years in corporate America, 17 of which was with one company. Pretty hard driving company, right? It was PepsiCo, you know, Gatorade, Quaker, Frito-Lay brand specifically. Pretty hard driving brands. Pretty, you know, it's a very intense culture. And it started, you know, before work-life balance became a thing. I don't know, probably about 15 years ago. It's like, no, you were at the office all the time. In my experience with a large company like that. And then over time, employees were heard and said, look, we understand we got to work hard. We have to drive for results. However, we also have families at home. So you talk about upper management, that was heard, that message was heard, and things were put into place. Teams were put into place to figure out, all right, how do we make the work-life balance culture better? Now, from Chance, you're kind of, you know, big middle-sized company.
Right.
Cracker Barrel's a big brand.
Right.
Jacqueline, your perspective is going to be a little bit different, being, you know, kind of your own boss, right? So how do you manage? I want to hear your perspective on how you manage the work-life balance thing. And I do want to comment, which dog is that?
That's Peanut Butter. She's one of the mascots.
So
she likes to crawl up in my lap all the time, but so it's weird. I've worked for giant companies. Like I worked for Countrywide, which then became Bank of America, and Syndex Home Equity, which became Nation Star, which became Mr. Cooper. And then I've worked for, obviously, like myself, like really small and kind of everywhere in between. I agree a lot with Lance that bosses make a huge deal to it because, like, for instance, my team, obviously, like there's not a lot of people. We're pretty small. And Patrick, who is pretty much my right hand, was my ops manager, which I know you saw him the last time I was on the show. You know, I give him a lot of deference. Like, if he's appointments in the middle of the day, like he doesn't need to clear them with me. Like, you know what I mean? Because I know he's just going to get the work done. I think a lot of it has to do with like knowing your employees and knowing what drives them. Like my dad has been in sales management for a really long time. And he told me before I became a manager for the first time, he said, you have to understand what drives your people. He said, because it's not always money. Most people make the mistake of believing that it's money. And he said that that's usually in the top 5, but it's usually not the top 2 reasons. Usually the top 2 reasons are recognition or time off. That's usually the number 2 things that drive people. And so he's like, a lot of times just being heard that you're doing a good job, that you've done something well. And for me, like, that's how I operate. Like, honestly, the number 1 reason I do my job is not money. I like to know that I helped people. Like, that's my goal, right? I want to help people and I want to know that I did that well. And so for my employees, I try really hard to ensure that whatever it is that drives them, if they don't care about being told they do a good job and they just want to get paid, then maybe throwing them a small bonus or whatever. So I think it comes to like kind of knowing like where they're at. And Chance, I love that Total Carry R, like they do that for you guys. Like they sit down and like talk about your personal stuff because it makes a huge difference, right? Like I've been having a huge personal crisis going on for like the last 9 months, this crazy flood in my house, long story, but anyways, that caused like $300,000 worth of damage. And so, you know what I mean? Like if I had a boss, I would hope that my boss would be a little understanding with me. Right. Luckily I run my own show, so I don't have to have that. But
I think too, on that point, like this is why management or managers are graded on turnover, right? Like they look at their turnover, because if a manager has a lot of turnover in their team, well, it's probably linked back to that manager for some reason.
You know,
well, a lot of people don't realize how much it costs a company to like get a new employee. Like it's not just the cost of like the amount of money they pay them. It's like the training and like the HR stuff they have to do, the tech, you know, because IT has to like get their computers and everything set up. I mean, it's a lot of money.
And I think it too, like if you think about it, when you were talking, you got to look at the industry too, right? Because when you're in a restaurant and you've got servers that you're managing, that's a whole lot different than being at a corporation and having a team that you manage, because most likely your servers that you're managing, that's not a lifetime career for them.
Right.
That is a stepping stone to where they want to be, versus when you're at a corporation, that could be a lifetime career for someone. So you've got to look at it two different ways. It depends on what industry you're in and what the team is that you're managing.
I think
I would add to that. I would add to that being like Jacqueline, what you're saying a minute ago about what things people want. Also, I think one thing that Total Care did a great job is making a difference in the world and having that ability. Like, hey, we're trying to change some things around the world with some of the mission work we do. So you can actually be a part of something bigger. And so you kind of get some satisfaction. Like, hey, I actually am helping. I may not be directly going to Africa, but I'm helping people raise money. I'm doing things so that the company's successful, that they can do more. And so we found that a lot of people, when you're talking about culture and things, you want to be part of it. Hey, we're not just here to make money. Like a lot of ERs print money. We're here to do more mission work and do things. So a lot of the people in the company are here for that reason. A lot of it is, hey, I like the fact that I'm not just working at a hospital, but I'm helping people, but I'm also doing good in the world. I think that's a good thing to add.
Yeah, I love that. And I know Total Care's mission and y'all's background. I absolutely love that. And I think specifically with Cracker Barrel, just thinking about it, I've been here since January, and the amount of stories of people that I've heard of them starting off as servers, and now they've been with the company 10 years. One of my bosses has been with the company 15 years. I spoke to a manager a few weeks ago that's been with the company 22 years.
That's incredible for that industry.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes. Cracker Barrel really does go above and beyond and take care of their employees. And I think them not franchising has a big part to do with that. But to hear that, I mean, the general manager of the Grapevine store has been with the company 11 years. The general manager of the Louisville store is also 11 years. He also went to UNT. You know, it's like, yeah, and it's crazy. You know what? The craziest thing in the world, I was at the Louisville store eating a couple Saturdays ago with friends, and one of their assistant managers comes out, and I look and I go, Shane, it was my roommate from college 13 years ago. And yeah, and coworker at IHOP in Lake Dallas. And I'm like, what are the odds? And he's been with the company for 6 months. But yeah, I think tenure of your staff really speaks about a company. So a lot of times I'm very big on researching a company before I will work for them to look at that. And I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll look at their employees and I'll see the tenure and stuff like that, because that speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's a great point. And a couple other points that I do want to make on the topic, but real quick, we do have to take another break, so we'll hit that on the backside.
The Community Difference is a new series of shows powered by the Difference Radio live stream and podcast network. This series of shows was designed to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. And we wanted to create a platform that brings awareness to and reminds folks of the goodness that lives within so many of us. By working with the local community leaders, business owners, first responders, veterans, schools, and citizens who want to unite with a clear and selfless purpose, the Community Difference seeks to spotlight the people, events, and activities that are producing positive outcomes, inspirational stories, and incredible experiences. In a world that is consumed with negative press, media manipulation, and propaganda, the Difference, along with many others who believe and support the Difference, understands there is no better way to make the difference than to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. We are currently searching for local communities to be the focus of our shows, but before we can launch a show in your community, we need your help. We need you along with local business leaders, chambers of commerces, major nonprofits, online community group leaders, networking groups, etc., to join us in making the difference in helping your community be seen, be heard, and be remembered. So, if you would like to know how you, your business, school, social media community, church, or your favorite nonprofit organization can be a part of this unique and powerful program, Reach out to us today and introduce yourself and let us know how you would like to contribute and bring awareness to the amazing people, places, and events that are making the difference in the community you love. You can call us at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com.
And now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back, and love that spot because kind of pertinent today too. We had a conversation with a local municipality here and their Chamber of Commerce, so there may be some great things coming with that community. But we're open to launching the show in several different communities. We've had some other conversations up in McKinney, for instance. So yeah, if anybody is interested in getting involved or starting up a Community Difference show in your municipality, let us know. You saw the phone number there. Reach out to any of the co-hosts or myself, and we can talk to you about that. But this is, the community difference and the whole concept, right? It's about, we're all about the culture. Our business topic of the month, building that culture and building that within your team and making a successful team based on that culture. Chance, I think you've got something you want to say on that. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've done a really great job of talking about. I wanted to make a comment that have your values. Can't see it. Mission and values written down, and we have 12 core values and 12 personal values, and we talk about them every month. So it's not a book we printed up and threw away. I mean, this book's worn out because every month we talk about it in a monthly meeting, and then I talk about it with my employees, and we go through it and we talk about the value of the month, core value, the leadership value. Okay. So it's evergreen, and we're always talking about it, and I think it really helps people understand, you're going to be treated a certain way and I'm going to treat you a certain way. So I know my boss is not going to treat me poorly, or, I'm going to be treated fairly, and I treat my people fairly. So it's kind of a two-way street, but you can't have that vulnerability when you're open and honest, and you can kind of have that communication going up to your boss and down to your people. And so I'm really a big proponent of, worked at Xerox, and I've had my own business, and this is the first time I'm sort of have autonomy, but it's nice. It is nice to have a company where they do talk about the culture, and they've had people that worked there for a while, and it was really upset people. They found out this person was sort of not being part of the culture, but threatening people. This, that, don't tell, because they're wanting to do things their way. And then they finally, they finally left, and then they sort of corrected that. But it does make a big difference, and I think it helps you feel good about how you treat people. So I'm a big fan of studying your culture. Don't just write it down, but practice it and talk about it.
Yeah, speaking on you mentioned mission and your values. So our mission, 2 simple words: pleasing people. And I think you've got to also look at your mission. So pleasing people, that means our internal as well as our external. Right. So your employees are also customers of yours. You've got to look at your employees as customers. Yeah. At the end of the day. They're your internal customer, and then you have your external. And so I think our mission is pleasing people, not only our external, but pleasing our internal customers, which are our employees.
Something that all your employees are also your best marketers too.
Yeah.
Something that stuck with me. Somebody said one time, "Are you willing to hire based on your core values? Are you willing to fire based on your core values?" Right? They should be so integral to who you are as an organization, that should be what determines who you hire, who you fire. And so that's how I really came up with our core values is okay, am I willing, to hire and fire based on whether people prescribe to these things? And so, I mean, that's how we operate.
That's great.
Yeah, and Chance, I love that you have that, on a flashcard or whatever, and you carry it around with you. That's a great concept. I have. You saw me kind of poking around. I have one on my desk, very similar. It's a little bit far away for me to reach and still be on camera, so I can't show it. But I love that concept because it truly is. I mean, it's with you all the time, and some things you may look over and just glance at and be like, oh, okay, whatever. But if you make that a part of your every single day, it hammers home the message. And I like that in a larger organization. It's kind of the ground rules, right? It's the expectations. It's the operating procedure at a very high level, and it's understood and it's communicated, and there is no doubt. So I love that you guys have that. So that's pretty cool ad. Also loved what you said about the philanthropic aspect of what you guys are doing. That should be near and dear to, all of our hearts. So I love that aspect of what you guys do in particular. The other thing I wanted to bring up, that Jacqueline, I think you kind of went there a little bit, but it comes down to opportunity, right? When you're hiring and when you're looking, when somebody is looking at your company or wanting to either work for you or not work for you, one of their decision points is going to be growth opportunity, right?
Yep.
And I think that's part of the culture. If it's not specifically in your mission statement, it needs to be very clear to your employees that, yeah, you're going to be joining this company as whatever the role may be. I want to know what your longer term goals are, and I want to know how you're a fit with us. So the growth opportunities that we can offer fit those long term aspirations, right?
I was going to say, it's funny that you say that, because I was thinking the same thing, Brian, that like, if you are a really good manager, then you want to understand like what the person's 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goals are. And you should be helping that person drive towards those, whether that is within your organization or not, right? Because your goal as a really good manager is to like help that person level up in a way that, because even if they don't end up always being your employee, they usually will also know good quality people that they will drive back towards you as well, right? And that's just like the sign of a good manager, is that you care enough about what's going on with them, that, you help them come to the level that they need to be at, personally and professionally, both, right?
The last guy I let go, within 6 months, had the job of his dreams and a wife. He's a younger guy, late 20s. He was kind of just floating along, and he was making good money and everything, but I knew he wasn't happy, and he wasn't, he was doing little things, like wasn't really putting in the effort. And the minute we let him go, a few months later, all these things came together, because he was probably excited and going after what he really wanted. And now he's super successful. He's doing great. He's like
you
DJ.
Gave him permission to level up and to do what he wanted to do.
And, I had been coaching and counseling him. I've got a background in coaching, and when I let him go, he's like, "You're not going to coach me anymore?" No, man, this is it.
I think on that note too, like with the opportunity part, you got to think about it this way. If someone's 1 year, 5 year, whatever plan, if you have other tenured employees that are willing to maybe be a mentor for those type of people and say, hey, would you mind partnering with this person, or would you like a mentor for that newer person? And they set aside time to meet, weekly or twice a month or whatever. And then they have a mentor who's actually like working on a plan with them to get to that point.
It's a great one.
Yeah, such a good point.
Yeah, I love that point. And the bench strength and bench talent and fostering that goes along with that succession planning. It all comes, it's all that HR stuff that, I used to hate. And really, I was like, okay, whatever. But it's important. It's important to find a fit. Jacqueline, you mentioned it earlier. If you don't find a right fit, that employee is going to, either you fire them because they're not performing, because they're not motivated, or it's not a fit for them and they're just going to go find a better fit, like Chance's employee, right?
And I think like on that note too, that brings back something that one of my old bosses said, like, hey, maybe someone might not be in the right seat in the company, right? So find the seat that is right for them. Maybe it's a different position.
I was going to say, do you guys ever do like the like personality kind of testing on your employees and things like that? Like we do a little bit of that, just kind of trying to make sure that we're not setting that employee up for failure. Like if they don't really love to be customer facing, then maybe that's not the best place. Like maybe we shouldn't have them in a place where like that's what they're doing all the time, right? If they have some minimal interaction, that's fine. But kind of putting them in the right position, that's going to utilize our talents, as opposed to like forcing them into something that maybe they can do it. Like maybe they're smart enough and capable enough, but doesn't mean that they're going to love it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, we use Personality Plus among other things, but I'll tell you the one thing about it too, is it sort of teaches you how to talk to different people. So if you're introverted, if you're extroverted, I'll come out here and talk forever and give a long-winded answer, but my CEO is not once a paragraph.
Yeah, I was going to say he wants bullet points. He wants bullet points. The brevity.
It doesn't have to be emotional. But if you're melancholy, you might need the emotional. You want to hear the emotions behind it and the whys. and you want to become, so it's interesting to know who you're talking to. And so that helps your team. Like you can if you've got one of each type of person on a team, then you get a good mix. So you can sort of build teams that way too. But it's pretty interesting.
In my past, I've done, it's called the True Colors test, and being in sales for 10 years, right? Like we would always understand, like within 5 minutes of being with a customer, we would have rapport building questions. And through those rapport building questions, we would have to identify that quickly what color that person was.
Right. Red, blue, yellow, green, right?
Yeah, blue, orange, green, and yellow, or blue, orange, green, and gold. And so like gold people want to be spoken to in bullet points. So when you said bullet points in paragraph, it brought that up. But it's learning how to approach certain people, because certain people don't want all the riffraff and the nonsense. They just want to be spoken to in bullet points and hear. Yeah.
I know we have to go to break, but I've got a funny story when we come back.
Okay, well, we're going to hit rapid fire after this. So I was going to ask a good question that probably requires a longer explanation, but I'll ask it in rapid fire. And if we have time, we can get deeper into it. But the floor is yours after we're in break. We are going to go to rapid fire after that. So let's take the quick break and we'll be right back.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus; Paul Fisher, loan officer with Certainty Home Lending; Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers; Kendra Kennedy with Stewart Title; Ethan Donovan with Donovan Creative Agency; Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage; Chance Post with Total Care ER and Total Care Networking; Matt England, Director of Corporate Partnerships, and Andre Coles, Head Coach of the Frisco Fighters Arena Football Team. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Rapid fire.
There it is. Rapid fire time.
Rapid fire. Lance doesn't know what rapid fire is, so he's
dodging the bullets there in the sounder. So, Chance, I know you said you wanted to
super quick. So I was making calls this morning, and with a person, I was kind of training her, and so I went into an office. I had my brochure, and this lady just kind of said, "Can I help you?" And she just stared at me like the meanest look, and I'm like, most people I'm talking to, personal injury, they don't have ERs that take personal injury case anyways. She just gave me the scowl. So I kind of turned around and here's my thing, and turned around and left. And the person that I was with goes, "Wow, you really just ran out of there." He said, "Hey, I've been doing this a long time. And when someone has that kind of look on their face, there's no point in talking to them." So I just turned tail and headed out.
Yeah. When you get the daggers coming from the eyeballs, it's like, all right, nice to meet you. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So rapid fire segment. This is where we're going to go around the horn and ask any kind of random off the wall questions, some pertinent, some not. Just answer and you move on. So it doesn't require a ton of explanation unless we come back and ask you about it, because it's so intriguing. So I'll kind of kick it off. And we'll go reverse order with ladies first, Jacqueline, and then we'll go to Lance and Chance. I didn't realize we had rhyming folks on the show today. I like that.
Lance and Chance.
So first question, since we have a Cracker Barrel stud on the show, is going to be when you're at Cracker Barrel, what's your favorite menu item? What's your go-to that you got to order off the Cracker Barrel menu? So Jacqueline, we'll start with you.
My go-to they took off, which was beef stew. I literally ate it for I don't even know how many years. I don't know if I have a go-to anymore, but that was my go-to.
All right. Well, this is the opportunity now for anybody listening in Cracker Barrel corporate to bring it back. So giddy up. There's your
Exactly.
message.
That was like a classic, like a Cracker Barrel classic. All right, Lance, you're up.
Yours.
Gosh, I would have to say I love our pancakes, so the Country Boy breakfast.
Nice.
All right. I like it. Chance?
It's going to be biscuits and gravy and chicken fried steak.
You just nailed
Chicken
mine.
fried steak's
Chicken fried
always a good
steak
one.
is absolutely, especially when I'm looking to just calorie load. Chicken fried steak, giddy up.
I'm trying to gain.
Yep.
I was gonna say, do you get any more country than chicken fried steak, man?
Yeah.
All right, here's the next question. I was going to ask it before, but I'll ask it in rapid fire, and then we might have to dive a little bit deeper into your answer. Have you ever been employed by a company with a shitty culture? Chance, we'll go reverse. You first.
Yeah, I worked at one that was terrible. I shouldn't even say I can't say. I guess I can't say their name.
You can if you want.
It's horrible. It was Allegiance Ambulance. They were terrible, and they didn't care. And they treated their patients horribly. But yeah, I spent a lot of time. All I did was talk to angry people all day.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Sounds super
Lance,
fun.
what about you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm probably a couple.
Jacqueline?
I work in mortgage. Like most mortgage companies, corporate culture pretty much sucks. Just so we're clear, in case anybody's wondering. So yeah, I mean, the list is pretty long, I could tell you. In fact, it's part of the reason that I did my own thing is because I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Well, likewise, being in real estate and being the go-between between landlords and tenants can get a little dicey sometimes. So not to say that my job sucks, but there can be certain interactions that make it interesting. All right, next question. Let's see. This is just kind of a fun one. I heard this one on the ticket this morning, so I'm going to bring it to this show. If you had to go without one of the following two things, which would it be? So live the rest of your life without the following two things: high definition television, HDTV, or air conditioning. Chance, you're up.
I'm keeping up. I think I want to have the AC for sure.
It is for sure AC. I like to read, so I'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'd survive. And we live in Texas. Like, I think maybe if you live somewhere where it wasn't that hot, you could deal without AC.
Yeah.
But like, we live in Texas. It gets like 100 and something here. Like, heck no.
Yeah, I'm going to have to side with you guys on this one. AC for me as well, specifically because we are here in Texas. Now, if, I grew up in the Chicago area, it gets hot during the summer. You can muscle through a summer up north without air conditioning. So if I was in Chicago, I would say I would go without AC because I am a sports nerd and I have to watch my sports in high definition. Looks like we lost Lance. He was mobile there, so hopefully we can get him back on before the end of the show.
I don't know what happened.
Let me ask another kind of, quick, easy answer one. Personal preference, beach or mountains?
Mine's mountains because I don't like sand. It sticks to you and I don't like it. It's a texture thing. Everyone thinks I'm crazy for it too. I love the water. Like if you told me lake or ocean, it would be lake for sure. And like you could take the sand away from the beach. I'm all about the beach. I just don't like sand.
Okay. Chance, what about you?
I think I said mountains last week, but now I'm feeling more like I'm ready for a beach trip. Since I went to the mountains last week, now I'm back now ready for the beach. I'm ready for a beach vacation, and I'm also feeling like I usually go somewhere for spring break, but now I got like kids in Florida already at the beach every day, and then another kid going to college, and so now I feel like I'm definitely going to be missing the beach vacations more, and so it's on my mind right now. Like I want to go to the beach.
All right, fair enough. And like you, I said mountains last week. I can go for a beach vacation right about now. So I'll go this week. I'll go beach.
Oh.
And Debbie chimed in the hash brown casserole. I don't think I've ever had that. So
I don't think so either. I think
will
we're all
add
gonna have to
that.
make a trip to Cracker Barrel, guys, all together.
Yep. So I may have to go up to Denton.
Yeah, we need to get Lance to hook us up.
There we go.
I was gonna say, which one does Lance want to take us to? Allen or Louisville or?
Yeah, we got to figure that out. Maybe we can do a show from Cracker Barrel. I think I think he should be settled now. I know Lance had popped off. I think he's back.
Okay. Well, there he is.
There he is.
So we had another chime in from the audience on their favorite dish, Lance. It's the hash brown casserole. Are you familiar with that?
Oh yeah, that's a favorite. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask because I'm supposed to leave for Austin at 4:00, so I haven't packed either.
All right, well, that's cool. We'll wrap up here really quick. I'm going to have one final rapid fire, and then we'll go around the horn and let you guys just remind the audience who you are, what you do. That final question, since there isn't an actual location, a Cracker Barrel location in Frisco, I'm safe asking this question. If you had to eat dinner, your last dinner, so you're on death row and it's your last meal, I know that's a little morbid setup, but what restaurant are you requesting a meal from on death row from Frisco? Jacqueline, go.
I was gonna say everybody knows what my answer is gonna be. It's gonna be Kenny's Burgers because I have literal dreams about the truffle Parmesan fries.
All right, Kenny's it is. Lance, what about you? You can safely answer this question since
I would probably say Hutchins Barbecue, but I do love Kenny's because Kenny's Woodfire Grill in Addison is phenomenal.
It is.
Yeah, all the Kenny's restaurants are great, and good call on Hutchins. I like it. Chance?
I'm going to say that filet at Perry's is pretty good. I'm going to go with that.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I'm going to go Hacienda Ranch because it was the first place we ate. And if I'm leaving the earth, I might as well eat it on my last time leaving Frisco too. So, all right. With that, we will wrap up the rapid fire section. Glad you were able to come back, Lance, because this is the time where we're just going to wrap up. Thank you for all your input, all of you guys, on the monthly topic, building culture and a strong team in a local environment. You guys all have great backgrounds for that. So thanks for the engaging conversation today. Lance, just remind the audience who you are, what you do, how to get a hold of you, especially if they are, and also throw in the target audiences and businesses that you're targeting specifically so you can get your boss off your tail.
Yeah, so Lance with Cracker Barrel oversee DFW, Phoenix, Arizona, San Antonio. I have Sherman, Gainesville as well. So I'm focusing on B2B 50 or less employees, and then all B2C, so wedding venues, event venues, funeral homes, anywhere where you can have an event, birthday parties, anniversaries, all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for being on the show. Chance, you go next.
Chance Post with Total Care Emergency Room. We've got 9 DFW locations, but we're right there. Hopefully you don't get hurt. Hopefully I don't have to see you, but we're Preston and Lebanon. If you have an emergency, we'll take good care of you.
Awesome. Thanks. Jacqueline.
I am Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage. Make a mortgage simple. As simple as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You can go to our website and schedule a consultation if you need one, or if you've got any kind of mortgage questions, seriously, reach out to us. We're happy to answer any of your mortgage questions.
Well, thank you so much. And you can also be found in the Plano shows on Wednesday. I am Brian Poduska, your host of the Frisco Community Difference Show, owner of Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. We work with investors to manage their small commercial and single-family residential homes. So if you're in need, come check me out. All my information was scrolling today. So once again, thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you for your input on the topic. Awesome to meet you, Lance. Finally got a little bit more in depth. Look forward to doing that again and seeing you at the Frisco Chamber on Thursdays. With that, enjoy the rest of your spring break if you're on spring break, and we will see you next Thursday, same time, 2:30. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for watching today's show. The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by
Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus. Paul Fisher, loan officer with Certainty Home Lending. Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers. Kendra Kennedy with Stewart Title. Ethan Donovan with Donovan Creative Agency. Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage. Chance Post with Total Care ER and Total Care Networking. Matt England, Director of Corporate Partnerships, and Andre Coles, Head Coach of the Frisco Fighters Arena Football Team.